All right, everybody. Welcome back, my friends, to the podcast that never ends. Your podcast. I'm just simply the host and creator of the Arena of Ideas podcast. All right, we're going to jump right in to episode 49. It's been a long time coming. I can't believe I'm almost got to 50 episodes, right? Well, this is episode 49. Like I said, my goals are incremental. I wanted to get to 25, I want to get to 50, 75, 100, and so on. Because it's not just one idea, it's an arena of them, right? So anyway, here we go. Okay, episode 49, the title is Behind the Mirror, The Secret Life of Twins and Multiple Births. This episode goes out to two great, wonderful people I know, Haley and Lexi. They are identical twins. They are from Colorado Springs, Colorado. They know who they are, and I want to thank them for the inspiration behind episode 49. I want to thank them very much. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump right into the disclaimer for this podcast because we got to make sure we cover our ground here and whatever's said. So, the views and opinions expressed in this and all Arena of Ideas podcast episodes are that of the host and guests, not to be taken out of context or misrepresented by any means possible. There you go. Okay, again, welcome back. I want to thank everybody for being back here. It could be your first time. It could be you've listened to everything and now you're just waiting for this next one to drop. Well, I want to thank all of you out there because without you, this doesn't happen. This doesn't have a possibility of even happening. Okay, so we're going to dive right into episode 49, again, Behind the Mirror, The Secret Life of Twins and Multiple Births. Okay, so a look at twins and other multiple births and the bond they have, only they understand. Thinking each other's thoughts and beyond, right? And mistaking identity to a club or society with exclusive membership. Mind you, it's only they understand. It's only a language and a life they understand. When they look at each other and they're thinking thoughts and you're going, okay, what's going on with the mind control or whatever's going on, or even, whatever misleading things you think about, or whatever your precognition ideas and things about their life and everything else. Just know this, there's only one way to be in this club, this society, or whatever else, is to be born into it. Only way you can do that is to do that and to be a part of what I'm going to explain in this episode about them. All right. So anyway, I already said that. So this is truly a situation where unless you're a part of this process, you can't relate by saying, oh, I understand. I feel your pain, or I know. Against all odds, the chances of having multiple births are very low among the general population, yet higher when associated with previous births, meaning families and different families and generations and all that stuff. When they have them in their family trees, if you will, multiple births or twins or whatever it's going to be, their likelihood is greater that it may skip a generation, it may go back to back. You really don't know, but ultimately, if you have them in your family, it's a great opportunity and chance that it could happen again. Right? There you go. So, yet higher when it's associated with previous births. Twins, triplets, quadruplets, quintuplets, sextuplets, septuplets, 7, octuplets, 8, nontuplets, 9, and decatuplets, 10. The most common type of births is non-identical twins, which is 1 in 80 pregnancies. The one drawback in multiple births can have many health risks for both mother and children, right? Because the womb and everything else, and they have the multiple babies in there, they're drawing from so much from the mother that you just don't know what's going to happen. And I'm thinking in this, DNA and everything else, and when it comes to the actual births themselves, more certain some mothers may have maybe more geared towards the situation and being more apt to be able to handle it, right? So one of the very rare and high risk results are with conjoined twins. 1 out of 50,000 or 1 out of 50,000 to 100,000 births. Conjoined when twins never complete the separation phase. They're joined at the hip. They're joined together and they're fused together. Fun facts. Did you know identical twins can have different personalities, traits? Yes, they share DNA, yet life experience and environmental factors can lead to different personalities. Twins have the ability to create their own language. About 40% develop their own language called, I'm going to probably butcher these. And again, I'm only human. Humans make mistakes. And that's just it. I'll try and pronounce these, okay? Idioglossia or cryptophasia. This is learned by mimicking each other's babbles, and not the intentions of the parents. Identical twins do not have identical fingerprints, like most people would think. The patterns are close, yet not exactly the same. They look the same, and maybe they do, maybe they don't. They have the same eye color and everything else. Fingerprints, definitely no. Multiple births usually arrive early, usually delivered 38 weeks or shorter. There's some good information for you. Most usually have a C-section, so less stress for the mother. Because if you have, especially when you get past twins, I just mentioned all those different, triplets, quadruplets, quintuplets, so on and so on and so on. That's a lot of stress. That's a whole lot for the mother to have to endure. So for the most part, most twins or most multiple births, they utilize a C-section to help save the mother. All right, so there are more than 2 types of twins. Fraternal might actually be identical. Identical have physical differences. They bond before they are born. Twins can sometimes talk in tongues. Twins can affect each other's sleep for years. They can, because they just have that bond. They have that secret society going on that no one can understand it or relate to it unless you are a part of it. Exactly. It makes this amazing thing that, I think people are maybe jealous or insecure because they can't be them. And you have a built-in friend for life and all these other things I'm going to talk about in this episode. But it's just amazing that, and I, like I said, Lexi and Haley, no, I've known them for a while now, but it's amazing to see them and know that, they have that commonality, that bond and things that only they know and they can experience and they can go through and do, which is cool as hell. We all can't be in the part of that, but guess what? It's okay. Again, you have to be born into it. All right. So anyway, let's see. Twins can affect each other's sleep for years. Raising twins gets easier. Competition between twins isn't always bad. It's actually good because, like in anybody, you want competition. You want ways in which to make yourself better, stronger, be more mentally prepared and everything else. That's anybody in life. But when it comes to competition between the multiple births, it's always a good challenge, but yet it's always a way in which to build camaraderie and maybe even a tighter and better bond between them, right? Exactly. That's what I would say. Note, 32 of every 1,000 babies born in the U.S. are twins. Identical, monozygotic, fraternal, dizygotic, conjoined. Even the places in the womb can alter the appearance of them as well. Fraternal worldwide are 2 times as common as identical twins. They don't share DNA, and so the combinations are like flipping a coin as to the outcome. Note 25% of identical and mirror image twins, yet the birth makes and other physical traits can be opposite. Some weird and wild, crazy combinations that you can never imagine. So, yeah, I mean, and you really wouldn't know the full traits and everything else until the full developmental stage, until they are actually born. Triplets are 1 in 10,000 pregnancies. Quadruplets are 1 in 700,000. Quintuplets, 5. So 4 is quadruplets, right? 1 in 700,000. Quintuplets are 5, or 5 multiple for a multiple birth is 1 in 60,000. In folklore, numerous books, multiple births were not always considered to be a blessing, as the following legends show. In times past, they were misconstrued as a sign of mother's infidelity, or basically sin, with potential fatal consequences for the children. Again, this is looking way back, in centuries ago and everything else. I kind of look at this like, kind of dealing with witches and warlocks and things like that, where if the female, because it was all this hearsay, people were talking about this person, somehow it got misconstrued that this person was a witch by word of mouth or something. They were just said to be, because someone else, was jealous or insecure or something. The crazy part is that they would basically come up with well, if she floats, she's a witch. If she drowns and she doesn't float, she's a witch. So either way, what are you going to do? Same thing as twins, and look at multiple births. It's evil. It's a sin. It's all these, mistaken things that people would look at because it's weird, strange, or something different from them. No matter what, they would be insecure about it, and they would spread that lie. And so in their minds, they're thinking it's a sin, bad things will happen, it's bad luck, this or that about that person's family. It's fallen upon them. And so then it's truly the survival of the multiple births, and how that whole thing, they may have to move or be cast away from the village or township they lived in, or whatever was going on. Crazy stuff. Today, people accept people for who they are. They really do. And I've explained things like this in my other episodes, a couple of them. It's just weird, crazy stuff that happens, right? Exactly. So now, as you can tell, this is the folklore, urban legend kind of stuff that I'm kind of going into now, and I want to look up some interesting, backstories and things like that to kind of look into and deal more with the in-depth things about this episode. Again, episode 49, Behind the Mirror, The Secret Life of Twins and Multiple Births, of course, this being the episode. Okay, so here we go. All right, so I have a little story here. I kind of jotted it down because I thought it would be interesting to kind of pour this into this episode, right? Exactly. Okay, so the birth of Asilf. And again, I'm going to start butchering this stuff. I'm not the greatest when it comes to being tongue-tied, when it comes to some of these titles, names, and other things. All right, so about a king who ruled the 8th century, brought 5 children in the world in 1 hour's time. Meaning multiple births, right? That's a different way of looking at that, or being said. The king only wanted 1 child to live. The one who grabs for his spear would be allowed to live. Again, that fear of all those other children being a sin or not a blessing upon that family, and that it may cause them bad luck and God knows what else, right? Exactly. Wilhelm and Jacob Grimm have about a dozen stories dealing with stories about unborn legend folklore of the dark and forbidden view, kind of like a analogy of when women consider to be a witch, because if she drowns, she's a witch. If she floats, she's a witch, so on and so forth, giving you that reference, right? Same as the mothers of multiple births, being looked upon as some kind of freak, evil, and just not normal. Basically, way back then, if something can't be explained, then it's bad, evil, and shunned. So not only was it difficult to explain multiple births to the common person. Again, you might be living in a township, a village, or something somewhere way back, centuries and centuries ago. And who knows how they're going to take it. So if you're living wherever you're living, you may be cast out and you might have to go find some other place to live, living out in the countryside somewhere on your own or something else, just because nature always finds a way. And somehow, this is looked down upon and it's really wrong. But way back then, anything that was weird, odd, or not normal compared to everything else was considered, cast out, throw in a pit, destroy, get rid of, do something, because it just wasn't going to meet the expectations of wherever you are, given what's going on and the beliefs, given the cultures, and sometimes it's cultures, it's religions, it's different things and ways in which that people look upon things, right? They consider things and question things and all these are situations. So like you go to Scandinavia, they've got a bunch of different beliefs and everything else like that. Europe's going to have different things, over in Asia, all the different continents are going to have different ways in which everything is portrayed in a certain way or differently. That's the way I look at it. That's the way that's anywhere you go. Just like if you got, 20 people together and asked them about the same, situation where it could all be cross-referenced to everyone, everyone's going to have a different story to tell because according to your family, this is what they looked upon it, whatever it might be. Shadows or evil, weird, obscure things or odd or whatever's going on. Not to go on a tangent away from this episode, just saying that's, it's in the eye of the beholder. It's kind of your beliefs and the way in which you were raised. And then maybe even some other folklore type things that were added in upon, whatever society, culture, whatever's going on, that's all portrayed a different way. And so, and then you can also learn from other people too that, they grew up this certain way and then you grew up this certain way and, just have different ways of thinking and doing kind of, again, the process of what we do here. Okay, so, keeping a laser focus here, keeping it tight and keeping in touch with what's going on with the podcast episode. Twins in mythology. The Ibejit, Ibejit, twins are viewed as one soul shared between two bodies. That's kind of how their view of look at it. If one twin dies, the parents create a doll that portrays the body of the deceased to kind of keep a memory of the other twin if something were to happen. That's kind of in mythology, again, that's where they look at that situation. And dolls, I guess, played a big part in many different societies, kind of taking the place of family members and other things. But, I mean, that's an interesting thing that, twins, one of the twins, something befalls them. Well, then, at that point, it's a doll that represents that other twin as a memory. That's crazy. The belief that twins or multiples are a sign of bad luck or misfortune is a cultural belief that has been present in various societies through history. Some out of countries and stories passed down to generations keep these misled and misconstrued fears of what they don't understand to be true. Taboo, evil, bad. An abomination. And multiple births are sinful acts or according to the folklore and urban legends. Like I said, things that are passed down by the family and so on and so forth. I'm not going to go back and rehash that. But anyway, it's just, again, people today, we have way more knowledge, way more technology and other ways in which to get our information and to learn about these things. But I thought it was cool to really look this stuff up and really get an idea behind it all. Anyone who's not a twin or is a multiple birth, guess what? We're on the outside looking in when it comes to the fishbowl. They're in it, and they're in it to win it, and we are just in it to twin it. No pun intended. LOL. So anyway, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So like I said, I thought this was really cool looking all this information up. All right. So I've got more to go here, of course, but everyone out there listening, if it's your first time listening, thank you for being here. This is awesome. You chose episode 49 to start your quest and journey going through and subscribing to, of course, the Arena of Ideas podcast. However, wherever you can listen, because it's over 20 places. And then, or if you've been back and you're back and you've listened to everything else and you're just waiting for the next one to drop, again, I thank you too. But what do you think out there listening? What is your perspective and your ideas on this? Again, you might have, people in your family that have had multiple births. And you just, look into it. Maybe you can look up your family tree and find out. Or maybe you just know that, your aunt or uncle or whatever's going on in your family has had that. And so it's an interesting, informative situation here. That's what I think about it, right? That's cool as hell. That's like I said, that's why I love doing these episodes, because it's like therapy for me on some level for some things. It's informative, and it's a way in which to gather more knowledge and information about kind of everything in life. And it's way for me to get the information out there for all of you. Okay, so note, why can't twinning be beholden to those who are from multiple births themselves? Meaning, it should be a conversation, not a interrogation, right? Kind of like what I do here with the following questions. And these are kind of ones that I was going through some different articles, and I was noticing that these are kind of the ones that everybody thinks about and everything else when they see twins. These are kind of these pre-connotated questions. There I go. Pre-connotated questions that they always seem to get. And, come on, let's be real. Just ask them, but they always ask these ones all the time. And so it's like, I'm sure it's old hat. Lexi and Haley out there, you're listening. I know you've heard these. I know somewhere you've heard these for sure. All right. So, okay. Following questions. Are you identical? Who's older? Who's the bad one? If I hit you, will the other one feel it? And do you think alike? Oh man, I don't know. I've even asked these questions, and it's like loaded questions, and you kind of feel stupid by the time you're done asking it. So I guess, maybe you have a good conversation with them, with, people of multiple births. And with anything, maybe you wait and get a good conversation, and maybe they lay that information out there for you and kind of throw out what you're already going to be thinking about. And then you don't have to ask them. They could just kind of tell you. Who knows, right? What's a possibility? It's a possibility. All right. So I did an episode on Beauty and the Beast Isn't Skin Deep. Okay. In the episode, if you haven't listened, the episode is not judging someone on appearance, looks, your social mania, reach, optics, or one's ability to judge others on some vain, narcissistic, self-loathing, negative scale. Hint, if you didn't hear that episode, it's a really good one. I believe you should. Back to this episode. Okay. All right. So now you're one of a multiple birth situation. I have aforementioned. This is being a day in life, basically a day in life for them. Okay. You get each question I phrased 5 times. Now this is my view on this. Okay. Let's go back. Remember the questions I just talked about? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, after I get done with this little snippet right here, my take on it, if you will, we're going to go into a little bit of bumper music to break this thing up. We do all this in bites, right? I'm not going to go on forever, and I don't want to knock you in the head and hit you over the head with all this information, and without breaking it up and doing some things. So let me finish this up. And basically, again, this is my viewpoint on this. All right. So now you're one of the multiple births situations I aforementioned. This being a day in life, okay? You get each question I phrased 5 times each in a 24-hour time frame. Now multiply those numbers now in how many in a year, let alone in a lifetime. And what you're having to go through as a person of multiple birth, you're having to hear those all the time. You go somewhere else, you get the same battery over and over again, like you're famous and you got paparazzi and they're all asking you the same damn questions all the time. All right. So, wow, this gets like those less fortunate who have physical, mental, emotional challenges they have no control over. And basically they don't have a control over being a multiple birth, right? They don't. It happened and they're a part of it. Feel the same questions based upon their situation. Either they hear it and answer, family and friends, or people to have social mania over it, turning the entire problem even worse. I call it having empathy for for fellow humankind. So in the Beauty and the Beast Isn't Skin Deep episode, I explore talking to the person, getting to know them, and appreciate them for who they really are on the inside and their special qualities they possess. All right, so what's going to happen now is I'm going to get into starting up this music right now for the bumper music. This is episode 49 of the Arena of Ideas podcast, Behind the Mirror, Secret Life of Twins and Multiple Births. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. I want to welcome you back to this episode. Okay, so where were we? Okay, but so basically, I was getting into the facts and figures and talking about that and folklore, urban legends, my views on it. Imagine again, empathy is putting putting yourself in the shoes and life of somebody else, given any situation, and having that that opportunity to be able to understand and appreciate people for who they are and look at good things and positive things in life and all these other great things. Well, getting back to it again, I want to thank Haley and Lexi, 2 identical twins from Colorado Springs, Colorado. They know who they are. And we're going to dive right back into this episode. I just wanted to break it up with a little bit of bumper music, as I always do. Okay, so just like here, talking about multiple births, what if they are a part of the extreme 10 multiples, right? The Deca, which is 10. Imagine that, just all in one, or as in the reference in the old folklore was having, that 10 in less than an hour, meaning those births all at that time. Amazing, right? Crazy, amazing, and it's happening though. And I already gave you some statistics about exactly when it does happen. Okay, so again, everything I do is an awareness exercise, right? Because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a professional of any kind, on any level, about anything. And if people know more than more about something or want to get on and talk about things and they're an aficionado, please, by all means, I want to have that conversation with you. Anyway, I'm not a twin or anything like that. Yet I even know none of them are clones, right? They're not cloned. In fact, if you were a twin, just a guess, you would want to be the following, right? A rebel and be your own individual as much as possible, letting your likes, dislikes, and personality lead the way. Like anybody, man. I'm talking anybody. You have your different likes, your dislikes. You hate eating this food, you like eating that food. You like to wear these clothes or whatever's going on. Because again, I think another thing that happens with twins and things is they, when you're young and stuff, really, really young, like really young, a lot of times the parents will try to dress everybody up the same. Really? Well, that's cool and all, but, have you asked the kids themselves that are the multiple births, did they like wearing all that stuff? Things like that. Okay, so let's get into some more information here for you. All right, so note, there is a MOMS, MOMS, Mothers of Multiple Society. Actually, there's more than just MOMS, Mothers of Multiple Society. There's a bunch of them. I didn't want to hit you over the head with all of them, but this is kind of a main leader when it came to looking up articles for this podcast episode. So, there is a MOMS, MOMS, Mothers of Multiple Society. It's open to the parents of multiples. It's a place where they can support each other and get information and help out when needed on all fronts. Founded in 1993 and is there when called upon for education, resources, etc. There are other clubs like this one. I simply Googled this one for some extended information adding to this episode. They have gatherings every year, and they do, like a reunion kind of thing where all the different multiples and things can all gather around and be a part. And, that society, that society of, multiples has that opportunity to get together, talk their things out, maybe, iron some things out when it comes to, why are they dressed the same? The questions I gave, all these other different little perspectives, right? Exactly. So, views and stories from twins themselves gives depth and good point of view, kind of like the proverbial questions I covered in this episode. In the womb, he states, no one thought of being bigger or dominant size with it mattering. His thoughts are to hope all babies are healthy and arrive safely. And this is a person of multiple births. I believe he was fraternal, kind of giving some ideas, perspectives, and growing up and what he had to go through in that process of being a multiple. The mental, physical, and emotional ties that multiple twins have is such a special connection and bond. They share an intense relationship, identicals for whatever reason, can speak in unison, can be weird at first, then charming, then often chose the same type of careers, doing the same kind of things. Kind of at first, they were kind of their own individuals, rebels, but then by the time it's all said and done, they kind of have their own language and everything else, and just kind of figure out ways to assemble together, even down to careers. It's so a comfort knowing they have each other to lean on for strength and support. It's like having a built-in best friend for life. Again, quotes. This other person was giving kind of references and kind of what his experiences were. Exactly. To the casual onlooker, not being part of this club society kind of creates a wanting to acquire that in life as well, jealousy to a degree. I have kind of everybody on the outside looking in might have a jealousy about this. Or, man, I wish I had that, but, if it's the want to or fear of missing out, it's what you don't have. If you don't have it, then you want it. That's a lot of people. A lot of people see it that way. Right? I do. Or they wouldn't even think about it, but then all of a sudden when you say it's exclusive, it's this, it's that, it has to be this, you have to be that, then all of a sudden everybody wants to be that. That's the way I look at it. All right, so it might shore up a few concerns and issues that become pitfalls such as loneliness, and these might, for all of us, these are some pitfalls and things that all of us go through, that we have to endure if you're on your own or whatever's going on. But if you have this bond of being a twin and stuff, you always have this to lean back on, to count on, so to speak. So loneliness, depression, fear of missing out or not belonging, and finding a life of basically twins, and the twins having the net to help. Basically, the twins have the net in quotes to help them out. one another out, right? They are their best friends for the rest of their lives. No matter what happens, no matter what befalls you, or what bad things happen, or what awaits in a bad situation, you have that there for you. You always have that net, if you will. So you're crossing the tightrope, proverbial, metaphorical tightrope. You've got that there underneath you, there for you, ready to catch you. All right, there is scientific evidence that proves if you remain together as friendship or relationship, you learn qualities of life to perpetuate things. And this is just, again, kind of my words here. Yet pure science and study can't pin down the process and explanation of what makes twins and multiples tick. Like a metaphorical chameleon, you must be one to truly understand one. You must be one to understand one, right? Takes one to know one, so to speak. All right. In the longevity aspect of this, a buddy for life can help bridge a gap between the highs and lows that usually affect everyone sooner or later. A Danish study found identical twins have a greater survival advantage than fraternal twins, yet they are always outliers that buck the trend based upon things like environments and upbringing. Things like that, right? I mean, environment you're in, the culture you're in. There's multiple environmental and upbringing and other factors involved. If you've got other multiples in the family, they're going to have a better understanding and ways in which to help you avoid a lot of pitfalls and things like that in life. And again, with Lexi and Haley, I'm not quite exactly sure what they have as their family tree and how that all worked for them. But it's cool because I have talked and know both of them, and it's really just an amazing thing. That's why I thought it was cool that we kind of sat there and came up with an idea about this episode here. I thought that was cool. Okay, so all right, so they fight for their own identity and try to live out as being their own selves, yet once together, they become inseparable and strengthen their ties, bonds, and stature, protecting and sacrificing for themselves, for the other twin or multiple. Okay, so where do you out there listening find this having the same qualities as a car or train wreck effect? What I mean by a car or train wreck is, what you see is not an illusion or figment of your imagination. The car or train wreck effect is this, and this is kind of my take on this. Again, it could be some theory, it could be something in psychology. Car or train wreck effect is you see this happen on the side of the road and everybody rubbernecks to see what's going on. Same thing if you have twins and multiples, or if people had facial tics or problems with themselves, you would focus to notice that, and you would try to, be respectful. Everyone tries to be respectful, but some people don't, and they'll look, they'll laugh, they'll poke fun at, point at, and do all these other negative things towards people of multiples. And it's really, really cool. The amazing thing they have, again, you have to be born into that whole situation there with what they're dealing with. And like I said, that's it. You have to be born into it. It can't be a society or fraternity or something like that where you can sit there, buy your way in, join something like a club or something. No, you have to be born into it. Okay, so what you see is not an illusion or figment of your imagination. Just know that. The only way you can become a member is not possible by voting or through some legacy attached to a society or fraternity, or even being sworn in by the powers that be. You're actually born into this exclusive club, society, and nation of members who are all over the world and attend various events to gather and appreciate this amazing life they lead, leaving us to wish we could have had something so strong to be there for the ones who, like me, are on the outside looking in. Where if you're not a part of it, You're on the outside looking into the fishbowl, and you can't be in the fishbowl with them. Not possible. What do you think about all that? Again, I've got other episodes I'm going to be doing about many other things. I thought that was so cool. I mean, I thought it's really interesting. It's something different. And if you're living that life, if you are a part of that twin and or multiples lives, you are in that. It's your population you. And that's what I get from this. Again, go back and think through about the process. What do you think about all this? I have ways in which to get a hold of the podcast. My phone number is listed in there in the information. You've got my email of michaelkingston723@yahoo.com. You've got word of mouth. You can text me whatever way you want to get at me and get a hold of me. Again, it's over 20 places now to listen, adding on a few other ones, and I'm not going to beat you over the head with all that. But anyway, if you have ways in which you want to get at me, and also too, please, by all means, at the 20 places you can listen, however and wherever you listen, please subscribe. And I do have a link in there if you decide you want to join the process of assisting me and helping me in my podcast by supporting me that way. I appreciate all of that too. We're going to get back in the other part of this. I'm going to get into some more music here as bumper. We're going to come right back. But anyway, what do you think? That was the whole, this episode about, the multiple births and everything else that covers all that information. What do you think about all that? That's interesting. It was eyes wide open for me. It brought me to an attention, a different respect level and attention when it comes to all of that. That Lexi and Haley and all the rest of you out there that have that going for you. I mean it. That's awesome. That's kick-ass. And it's really something that not all of us can compare to. Period. All right, so here we go. So as you hear this right now, again, this is the 49th episode of the Arena of Ideas podcast. Behind the Mirror, The Secret Life of Twins and Multiples. We'll be right back. All right. We're back. Now is time for the Comedy Corner, where we're going to have a few of my fun dad jokes. I'm a dad. Okay, so it's called dad jokes, but basically they're jokes. We'll go in the Comedy Corner now, and then we'll, of course, go into the microphone check. This time on the microphone check, I'm covering Oliver Tree. He's kind of an artist that's been around for a couple of years. Again, I love it. I'm going to give my props and plug to my son Dylan. My son Dylan, that's one of his favorite performers, is Oliver Tree. So we're going to do a discussion. I'm going to thank him for that. And then we're going to get into Remember the Legends. I'm going to talk about Robin Williams, the comedian. Kind of hit home with me about him. So I kind of want to throw my little love and appreciation. R.I.P. Robin Williams. We'll go into that for the Legends. And then we'll kind of roll from there. I don't have any plugs, props, or shout outs when it comes to a business or anything, but you know what? It's whenever it happens, it opens up and it's an opportunity to get people out there to promote themselves or for me to promote them, right? Exactly. All right, so here we go. Again, this is Comedy Corner. Gives you a few dad jokes, gives you a few jokes, makes you laugh, makes you, give you a mental break if you're working and all this other stuff. This is a chance, an opportunity for you to sit there and appreciate and enjoy something else, right? Something to have a diversion. And I'm now in the way of that, aren't I? Because I know there's a few people out there that they look forward to the Comedy Corner. They do. They say some people are like, that's my favorite part of it. I think that's awesome. I think it is. Okay, so here we go. All right. My dog has no nose. How does he smell? Well, how does he? Listening? How does he? Awful. What do you call a cow with no legs? Anyone? Ground beef. What do you call a cow with two legs? Lean beef. What do you call a cow with all legs? High stakes. All right. That had a bovine theme to it, right? Exactly. Okay. Well, anyway, you guys had, and too, in this part too, if you guys want to write in and you guys have better jokes than mine, again, I have a joke generator and I come up with jokes. Look, I'm not a comedian. I don't even promise to be one or do stand up on the weekends or anything. I just want to give, break this thing up in segments, give an opportunity to kind of enjoy other things. If you've got ideas and things that you want to get out there in this process, please, by all means, let me know. I love it. I've had a few people that have given me other jokes and I've thanked them for those. Here's what I do in my episodes. If you haven't figured it out by now, it's your podcast. I'm the host. And with that, anyone that comes up with anything else and they come up with an idea or something else for an episode or whatever's going on, you get first name credit for whatever you do. And I give you first name and I give you where you're located. Because again, that's, the important things is it's your podcast. I'm just simply the host and creator of this podcast. And it's how you guys want this to be. People give me ways to improve and everything else and ideas and things. And I'm telling you what, I love the whole process. So, all right. That is the sounder for the microphone check. Again, Nick, you're out there. Nick from Pueblo. He knows who he is. Thanks to him, he's the one that also got this whole thing, microphone thing rolling, the mic check rolling for me, helping me out with this process, knowing I love music and everything. Oh, and before I get any more into this, I'm not going to really go down the laundry list of places to listen, but anyway, Sprecher, speaker with an R. They're the ones that gave me this wonderful opportunity. I always give a tip of the cap to them, thanking them for this opportunity. Sprecher, speaker with an R. They have their own platform to listen to podcasts as part of my 20 and more. And they also are the podcast arm for iHeartRadio. Another place, again, you can listen. But anyway, that's how I got the start to do this. And anyone else out there that decides that they want to do this podcast thing, guess what? You can do the same thing as I do. I can help you or assist you with that, with some ideas, emails, or whatever's going on, or however you want to chop that up. But everyone has the same opportunity as me. I'm not like in some special class of anything. Everyone gets an opportunity to do what you want to do. I love doing this, and I hope you're appreciating it. So now let's get back into the microphone check. Again, Nick from Pueblo, thank you again for this helping me collaborate and come up with this idea. So thank you. All right. So again, I told you my son Dylan, my middle son Dylan, he's from Pueblo. He knows who he is. He also knows who this is. All right. So Oliver Tree, a great performer, amazing. If you get a chance to check him out, he's got videos on YouTube. I think that's kind of how he got his start, was on YouTube. So check him out. He's a YouTube sensation, and he's a sensation of music and just a great overall performer. All right, let's dive into it. So, Oliver Tree Nickel, American singer-songwriter and producer. His genre is alternative and indie, but I call it more like he's anything and everything. He could cross over and probably do anything he wanted to. That's how talented Oliver Tree is. Born June 29th, 1993. Age 30, he's age 31 to present. He's still alive, of course. All right, so he's born in Santa Cruz, California, signed to Atlantic Records in 2017 after a song of his, When I'm Down, went viral in 2020, released Ugly is Beautiful, the album, in 2020. That's amazing. That's some serious songwriting, dude. I mean, you get noticed, you get signed, and you have that first album out. That is some hard work and dedication. I haven't done it. I'm just imagining that. Yes, he's young, misunderstood. His hairstyles, fashion, take a page from the 80s and 90s, basically. He's dressed, and his haircuts are like he's right out of a page of the 80s and 90s in fashion and all this other stuff. And making his own persona, if you will. His own epic legend in his own right. Yet there is a method to his madness. In his unconventional approach to his songs and videos. His greatness to me is his ability to exhibit originality, humor, and such an amazing creativity. His talent overwhelms all fans with such a great catalog of music, and no mistaking a Oliver Tree song, right? With a infectious and eclectic sound, you want to sing along, turn it up, and to me, he's like his lyrics in his songs. Excuse me. He's like his lyrics in his songs. Why am I so tongue-tied today? Like his lyrics in his songs. Excuse me. There's a song called Life Goes On, and that's really where he went viral and he hit it big, and it's a cool video. He's very creative in the way in which he creates his videos too. So check him out there. Check out that song. A double entendre of talent. Double entendre, that's kind of a line in the song, Life Goes On. With a treasure trove of hits like Alien Boy, Bounce, Life Goes On, Jerk, Cash Machine, kind of my personal favorite, Cash Machine. Cowboys Don't Cry, Swing and a Miss, Hurt, Miracle Man, and more. A true mark of a great performer is doing it live. And he's a master of live and in person. Check out his entire collection and everything he's done. And again, I want to thank my middle son, Dylan. I got a few other of his other performers he really likes. Like he likes Post Malone and a rapper named Prof and a few other people. He just has an affinity for us. So I'll be, again, doing those microphone checks on them as well. But again, Oliver Tree was a microphone check today. All right, that sounder tells you it's only one thing. It's Remember the Legends part of this whole thing. Okay, so I was telling you earlier that the Remember the Legends is going to be about late great Robin Williams. I have some other comedians I love, like George Carlin and a few other people. But man, he, got a place in your heart for Robin Williams. Such a talent. It's gone way too soon. I'll get into why I say gone too soon. Rest his soul, Robin Williams. Just oozed talent, was, beyond compare. Talk about improv, the definition of improvisation when it comes to comedy and all things, even thinking on the spot, man, crazy. Robin Williams is improv. His picture is next to it in the dictionary. If it's not, then it should be. Because, especially when you talk about getting into some of the movies and things he's done, dude, I don't even think they wrote a script for him. I think his lines were just blank and he just created things on the spot, and that's how good and spontaneous and how top of his game Robin Williams was when it came to a whole lot of things. All right, so let's dive into it. Robin McLaurin Williams, born July 21st, 1951. He died August 11th, 2014. He's been gone for a couple of years now, and it's hard to believe that he's already gone. An American actor and comedian known for his improvisational skills, fast on his feet, sharp as a tack, created a wide variety of characters on the spur of the moment, and portrayed on film in dramas and comedies as well. Considered one of the greatest comedians of all time, their list and mine, right? He achieved an Academy Award, 2 Primetime Emmy Awards, 6 Golden Globe Awards, 5 Grammy Awards. That's right, Grammy as well, because some of his stuff were like albums and things like that. and 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards. You don't hear that much. Look at the accolades of this guy. Was awarded the Cecil B. DeMille Award in 2005, starred in films, TV, and video games. On TV, appeared on the Richard Pryor Show, Laugh-In, and where I remember seeing him is the 70s show Mork and Mindy, playing an alien. Of course. Out of this world, really, his talent. Was on Comic Relief, helping the homeless. Movies, World According to Garp, Good Will Hunting, Good Morning Vietnam, Dead Poet Society, Jumanji, Mrs. Doubtfire, Birdcage, etc. It goes on and on. Could be here all night just going through all of his movies and stuff he did. What an amazing talent. The guy was just, what chops and what abilities this guy had. He was a no-holds-barred tour de force comedian who could also act in every capacity and was larger than life, who seemed to be on the surface to have everything, yet was in such deep depression. Behind the infectious smile was complete sadness, so much so he took his own life and left the world in disarray. And all you can think of is Sending the Clowns or something like that. That's Robin Williams. That covers that part of it. No, it's just amazing. Just remember, I grew up with him basically my entire life for the most part. And, he was even a Laugh-In. So, I mean, he covered and spanned as far as pretty much, I was born in 1965, makes me old. I just remember seeing him, ever since way back when. Okay, so that covers pretty much everything in this episode. This is episode 49, Behind the Mirror, The Secret Life of Twins and Multiples, right? Multiple births. Again, I want to thank all of you out there and being a part of the podcast. Thank all of you. Whatever level you're in, if you're giving me assistance and help and insight and different ways in which to make this a better experience for us all, for myself and also for you out there. And you want to make this, you want to come on here, you can. It's an open mic, no pun intended, open opportunity for anyone who wants to be on here, or if you have ideas and you want me to convey and get them out there, and get out what you have as a rant, rave, beef, issue, problem, screaming at the radio, the TV, or the sky over anything, or whatever else is going on in your life. Guess what? This is your opportunity to shine and to be a part of this whole thing. Again, I call all of you out there my family and friends. I really do. Again, I've already said that, if it's your first time here or you've been here the whole entire time, I want to thank all of you. And please, by all means, word of mouth or otherwise, tell others about this experience, this opportunity, and let them know that they also can be a part of, this experience as a podcast, an opportunity, if you will, and a chance to really make a difference, to matter, and to be more aware of things in all of our lives, right? And basically, that's about it for this episode. I want to thank all of you again, and I'm just trying to live the best of the rest of my life. I hope you do the same thing as well. And until next time,